Actor and presenter Joost Prinsen has died. His daughters and his longtime girlfriend, Noralie Beyer, told NRC. He was 83 years old. The news of his death sent a wave of sadness across the Netherlands, where Prinsen had been a beloved figure for more than 5 decades, a man whose voice, face, and warmth became part of the cultural landscape for generations who grew up watching him. Prinsen died Monday in Amsterdam from complications related to cancer and a stroke. For those who had followed his journey, the news was heartbreaking, but not entirely unexpected. He had faced a long battle with cancer, one that he had fought with dignity, courage, and his characteristic humor. Even in the face of illness, Joost remained the same person his friends and audience had always known: honest, witty, and endlessly curious about life. He was known for shows including De Straightmaker Optie Show, The Straightmaker at Sea Show, Het Klokhuis, The Clock House, and as the creator and presenter of the TV quiz show Met het mes op tafel, With the Knife on the Table. Each of these projects carried his unmistakable touch, an ability to combine intelligence and playfulness, seriousness and warmth. In the children's series De Straatmaker Optie Show, he became widely known for his portrayal of Erik Engert, a character that became iconic in Dutch television history. The show, created in the early 1970s, was a strange and wonderful mixture of humor, surrealism, and social commentary. It was one of those programs that transcended its target audience, appealing not only to children, but to parents who could appreciate its clever writing and satirical undertones. In a world that often feels increasingly fast and disposable, Joost Prinsen belonged to an era when television was built with heart and crafted with care. He brought depth to entertainment, turning what might have been simple programs into experiences that shaped people's childhoods. Many fans have shared that it was through his work that they first discovered the joy of language, performance, and storytelling. For Joost, every line had rhythm, every story had meaning, and every laugh was earned. When Prinsen announced in 2024 that he had bladder cancer and that it had metastasized, it shocked many who had followed his work for years. In reality, he had been carrying that burden quietly since 2017. For 7 long years, he kept his diagnosis private, a secret shared only with those closest to him. It was not because he feared pity or publicity. Joost was not that kind of man, but because he wanted to keep living as fully as possible without being defined by the disease. When he finally spoke about it publicly, his tone was remarkably calm. That's something that's become common in recent years, where your body has to fight the disease itself, he said to Volkskrant magazine in late 2024, referring to the immunotherapy treatment he had undergone, and miraculously it's been very successful. That's why I'm not too worried at the moment. His words reflected the quiet strength and acceptance that characterized so much of his later life. He had seen illness, grief, and love in all their forms, and through it all, he remained grateful for the days he had left. Joost's journey in the arts began decades earlier, long before he became a familiar face on national television. Born in Vout, a small town in the southern Netherlands, he grew up in a post-war world filled with both uncertainty and possibility. As a child, he was curious and imaginative, often entertaining his family with stories and little performances. His teachers saw early on that he had a gift for words and expression. After finishing high school, he followed his passion to Amsterdam, where he attended the Amsterdam Theatre School. There he honed his craft, developing a deep appreciation for the power of performance, not just as a form of art, but as a way to connect to people. In those early years, he was drawn to the stage more than to the camera. Theater allowed him to feel the energy of a live audience, to lose himself in a role, and to explore the human condition in all its complexity. He once said in an interview that acting was like stepping into someone else's soul for a little while. That sensitivity would later define his television work as well, making him not just an entertainer, but a storyteller who could evoke emotion and thought with subtlety. By the time De Straatmaker Optie Show aired in the early 1970s, Prinsen had already built a solid reputation in the performing arts, but this show changed everything. Alongside Art Starches and Wieteke van Dort, he created something that broke away from the typical children's programming of the time. It wasn't just about jokes or songs. It had a deeper message, encouraging kids to question the world around them, to be creative, and to embrace their individuality. The show became a cultural phenomenon, remembered fondly even decades later as a golden chapter in Dutch television history. Following the success of De Strademaker op Zee show, Prinsen continued to expand his artistic range. He worked on numerous other projects, including Het Klokhuis, a show designed to educate and entertain children in equal measure. For Joost, the magic of children's programming lay in its honesty. "Kids can always tell when something's fake," he once said. "If you want to reach them, you have to speak to them with respect." That philosophy guided much of his work. He never talked down to his audience, no matter their age. As the years went by, Joost became a respected name not only in television, but also in literature and radio. He was known for his sharp wit, his elegant use of language, and his ability to move seamlessly between humor and reflection. His later work as the creator and presenter of the quiz show Met het Mes op tafel showcased another side of his personality. The show was a unique blend of trivia, conversation, and music, all wrapped in an atmosphere that reflected Joost's charm and intelligence. Contestants didn't just compete, they talked, laughed, and shared stories. Viewers loved the show not just for its format, but for the host himself, whose warmth and curiosity made everyone feel at ease. Throughout his career, Joost was admired for his integrity. He was not someone who chased fame or trends. He believed in substance, quality over quantity, truth over spectacle. He often spoke out about the changing nature of television and how he feared that genuine creativity was being replaced by quick entertainment. Yet he remained optimistic, always encouraging young artists to stay true to their vision. Behind the public persona, there was also Joost, the husband, the father, and later the partner who rediscovered love after loss. His marriage to Emma was one of deep companionship and mutual respect. They were together for 46 years, a lifetime filled with laughter, challenges, and shared dreams. Emma's death in early 2020 was a devastating blow. Friends recall that Joost was never quite the same for a while. He withdrew from public appearances, spending more time at home, reflecting on the life they had built together. He once told a close friend that losing Emma felt like losing the air around me. And yet, as life often does, it surprised him again. In 2021, he rekindled his love with former newsreader Norali Bayer. It was a reunion that felt fated, two people who had known each other for years, finding comfort and companionship in the quiet moments of later life. Their bond was tender and grounded, a relationship marked by understanding rather than grand gestures. Norali was by his side through his final years, offering him stability and love during his fight with illness. Their partnership reminded many that love doesn't fade with age. It only deepens in meaning. As the cancer progressed, Joost continued to face it with remarkable grace. He spoke openly about mortality, but never with fear. He viewed death as a part of the same great story he had been telling all his life. "Everything ends," he once said, "but that doesn't mean it disappears. What you've done, what you've said, how you've loved, that all stays somewhere."